For some, love is a strong feeling. What if you could send it in a... From point A to point B. Zero borders, zero time, zero fees. For us, love is sending crypto. Just send it. Now with Smart Send. Engineered in Switzerland by SwissBorg.
Pow wow wow, yippee yo, yippee yay, pow wow, yippee yo, yippee yay.
Pow wow, yo, yippee yay, guys. Power number 21, and I am super excited to be with you guys today. As always, we're going to dive into love the community, talking about what is happening with the premium league tournaments. I think so this is a really good way to shine and talk about what's happening on the markets. As you guys know, my name is Cyrus Fazel, proud founder of SwissBorg, always here to serve you. So let's talk about news of the week. All in all, things are looking bearish, things are looking bloodyish, but is this mean is the end or not? It's not. Obviously, Celsius, a lot of different exchanges, BlockFi, a lot of people have doubts right now where if you're going to deposit your money, you're able to withdraw them. We had this with Coinbase. There's so many different things that people are now fighting about, and some of them do make sense, some of them don't make sense. We saw that BlockFi was a multi-billion-dollar valuation company that now is doing around under $1 billion of valuation. So all in all, valuations are cutting in half. A lot of projects are people getting laid off as well. And I think so this is always the good time to think straight, think smart, train hard, build hard, and capitalize on these moments. I think so this is exactly what we're doing at SwissBorg. And not only us, we're seeing that other emerging markets such as Central African Republic is actually trying to tokenize their mineral resources. Does that mean it's going to happen anytime soon? I don't believe so, especially with security tokens. You know that this hasn't really got to mass adoption yet. Argentina, it is adopting more Bitcoin within the reserves, I heard. These might be a good way to fight inflation, I think. And this topic might be the sexiest one, is that we saw it with COVID, that Bitcoin fell down to like 5,000, and then people start realizing as inflation edge. It took some time, right? And I'm hoping for crypto we have the same thing, is that we don't wait to the next economical good cycle to go back, but it might pump before, because Bitcoin is a great inflation hedge. And right now we're at the highest time of inflation. So come on, guys. Doesn't make sense what's happening. Bitcoin miners faces profit issues, obviously, with Bitcoin being at 30K right now. Last but not least, the bearish news, which is, we talked about this 6 months ago, the CPO, or head of product at OpenSea, he went for about to buy a big collection of NFTs before listing it on OpenSea. And therefore, this was insider information trading, and he actually is being charged guilty. So someone has been wrecked. Sad news for him, but it makes some sense to some extent. But the very funny is that we never had this ever, because these are products and not financial products. So maybe the FBI was right on this one. Maybe there's other things that are subtle. We can't read through this last court. But hey, insider information now is a real thing in crypto. So better watch out. So what's happening? Let's look at the big picture. As always, right now we have since November of last year, when Bitcoin's at 66K, we saw a massive capitulation that has happened. This has happened for a lot of different reasons, as we know. First, because if you zoom out, we just had a massive pickup from Bitcoin from 5K to 66,000, which was quite crazy. So there's always that. And then there's economical cycle. We see that right now, since this massive pump of free money, right, has brought inflation to 8%, from 0 to 8%, was quite crazy. And now this is trying to fight this by doing essentially tightening, hiking the rates, right? Making sure that people go from stocks or from bonds to interest rates to money markets, treasury bills, the most secure type of investment. So you're seeing a lot of outflow is coming from the more risky assets to going into interest rates. And this might have a big effect on the economy, GDP, but as well as the real estates. It could happen a lot of things on crypto, even if it's still inflation edge, which I think so it's a great play. So this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to normalize essentially this inflation here by essentially making sure that money is scarce, right? And going back to what's happening with crypto, people are flying to security to some momentum. We're seeing that essentially Bitcoin dominance, it is growing back again. So people are going from altcoins to Bitcoin. Total market cap crypto, we've seen that, things on the long run are really quite crazy when you think about it, right? We really see that overall market has just boomed since day one. What you're hearing here is quite on-chain Bitcoin supply and profit loss, something quite interesting. We see that essentially what happens is when the supply is in loss here, so the red line, and we see one is in profit, which is essentially the orange line here. Whenever we have a conversion of both it touches, we see these cycles. We see these economic cycles that grow quite rapidly, right? And when they touch again, potentially these things correct. So does this mean here that the profit and loss is going to be quite close to normalizing and get to the average and go back to a new cycle or not? Hard to say, but looks like there is definitely accumulation. Last but not least, what's happening with an NFT? We have seen that obviously in the past quarter or so, a lot of activity has been happening on OpenSea, which is the main platform right now. We're seeing that mints as well have been growing, especially recently. A lot of mints are happening. And we're seeing that transaction per week, though, we're at the highest ever because there's a lot of new free mints. This is what has done. So we're not seeing the accumulation of buyers that are as big as it was in terms of like Bored Apes and like more, let's say, a AAA type of NFTs, even if that doesn't exist for sure. But the more pricey ones, we're seeing a lot of activity, which that is a very healthy sign of sustainable business. So a lot of people essentially getting into buying cheaper NFTs or minting for free. And this is something that is very good to see. The first time buyers as well is pretty much essentially similar. So that shows that there is a high activity despite the markets, and especially for free drops minting. I think so this is something that is growing a big tendency right now. Question of the week: are CHSB tokens really burnt? I'm quite new in SwissBorg and trying to know exactly what happens to token burns. So we have 1 billion supply by definition. A big portion of this was sold during the ICO in 2017 or 2018. Some kept to the team and some kept to the company. And this is where the yield is generated right today. And what we've been doing since, I think so now, 2 years or so, that we're buying back tokens and we're burning them. How do we burn them? We cannot remove them from the smart contract itself. You cannot just delete them. It was not coded for this. But what you do is that you send these tokens, so we buy it back on the market at strategic moments. A portion of revenues are dedicated for that. And then we will send it to an address that no one has the private keys to it. So that address has been known forever. A lot of people have been sending tokens to that. None of that has been able to get these tokens out, obviously. And this is exactly what we're doing, is you're buying back and selling it back, to sending it to this address. So that's how the burnt is done. It's not technically burnt, but they're taken off from the essentially circuiting supply, which is what we've done. And talking about now Andras, when will the protect and choose start? In Q2, where we are definitely thinking of now exactly what to do. We're going to have different votations on what are we going to do with these tokens that we're buying back. right? The most important thing I would say in this protect and choose is the protection. So making sure that we have some revenues that goes to buy back this token. And essentially then what do we decide? If we decide to burn them, well, we'll just send them to this same address that you could see on our website, or essentially start, trying to make sure that there's some use case for this. Other question, will SwissBorg support the UTK bridge to EGLD? No, we won't. EGLD right now doesn't have any tokens essentially on their platform. So it's extremely hard to bring them. They're not on Fireblocks either. The chain EGLD right now is running with 2 different apps. I think so. It's Meyer and UTK. So it's not worth the try. If this evolves in the future, why not? We'll be very happy. But for this anyways, Fireblocks has to make those changes. So long story short, no. If I think so, they will keep their 2 tokens anyways. And if not, we'll have to delist UTK, unfortunately. HYC, thank you very much for your comment and your concerns. The roadmap of the CHSB not CHSB, I think it's about SwissBorg in general, will happen in February. We still 4 months later. So I think so it's 3 months, yeah, February, March, April. Yeah, so 3 months later. We haven't seen much. Well, we saw the Smart Send. This is the first thing we saw. And the thematics, the Yield 2.0, different DeFi things going on, and the surprise, it still hasn't been shown. And that's true. I think so. What you have to know, it just takes a lot of time to build things. It really does. The good thing is that we went from a hierarchy type of tech, marketing, support and all these different teams to a type of horizontal type of company, which is based on business units and products. So this is much smoother. So you have like a community one that has acquisition and different things, and CHSB and other things. You have then investment, which is like the yield, and there's the thematics and other things. So really trying to unveil and build these roadmaps and essentially unveil them in a better, smoother process. We definitely could be getting better at communicating with you guys, but I think this is what I'm doing on every Tuesday, and I was here to answer any of your questions. So long story short, we're building, and for you guys to hopefully very soon yodel and enjoy the best investment experience that you could have. Shout out to my man Michael. Thank you so much. I missed you in Zurich, and I miss your wonderful chocolates, but you made a really, really cool thing. Thank you in these good times to be lovely, to show your heart and bring what we do best after SwissBorg and Switzerland is chocolates, right? So many thanks for this, and looking forward to have you more often, especially at the office. Come to Lausanne. I'd love to eat some of those chocolates. I think so. Something that a lot of people in the community have talking about is democratizing wealth management by making it fun, fair, and community-centric, and eventually making the world a better place. And for that same cause, I think so. Love is love. This is a big thing, right? We always talk about how the world has never been very fair, and especially not today. I think so. We're really trying to show that the green love could be accepted in any community, and any sex, and any religion, and any politics, whatever. That green heart and those green laser eyes could be adopted on the greater scale and for the greater good. And we're about to release in the swag shop. You could go check it out, and get a wonderful shirts that could represent that love is love during the Pride Month at SwissBorg. I think so. A lot of the profits are going to go to Vogue, which is essentially an association for sexual and gender diversity in here in Switzerland. But obviously, this has a bigger scale. It's to help essentially the world to understand that, again, love is love. How deep is your love? Is your love in us? If you want to be part of our team, we have more things coming down with compliance. If not, it's the same. Refer your friend and earn up to $3,000 worth of SwissBorg tokens. Premium League Tournament. This is really cool. So this is a way that we have separated into 4 different teams. There's 4 different teams that are the Team EXP. There is the team that is here right now, and essentially what is about? It's about 44 community members, 4 teams, 4 social media channels, and who is the best within those teams to compete between our lovely community members. Many of you that are within this wonderful powwow. I want to thank all of you guys to bring up a lot of different ideas as how to essentially show that great love in different ways. So congratulations for all those people that are participating in this, and I'm looking forward to see who's going to be winning it. Quite big events update. Since May, we have done a lot of 6 conferences and 5 side events. The one with Coin Bureau was really cool in London, if you guys checked it out. Latitude 59 in Tallinn, which was really, really great to see that we are growing ecosystem over there in Tallinn, which we have offices. WEF in Davos, obviously this was a great one to talk about a lot of different big leaders and to be among the shapers and the movers. Blockchain Ireland last week, really cool stuff happening there. There was as well this last week in Zurich, but as well in Zug, where we were there. I spoke about the future of DAOs, and I'm hope to talk about this, by the way, very soon, maybe next week, about how we're going to change the games with this hero Super SwissBorg project. So is there more things happening? Obviously, there's Money 2020. We're going to be there. There's going to be as well Asset Rush. In July and August, we're going to do a lot of community things. That's going to be really cool. Some things at the office as well. In September, we're back with conferences as well. So we're going to have different things in our different cities around the world. And it's a good time as well for us to meet up. Just want to shout out to our payment operation and support team. They're doing a lot of things since 2020. And it's really, really growing. And what we're seeing here is the insights. That's really interesting. From the 1 star to the 5 stars. You know, it's always good. Very often we have 1 stars or 5 stars, which is very awkward. Or rather, people love it or people hate it. And here we see essentially where the biggest complaints come from the app. I don't know if you guys agree about this, but anyways, let's break them down. Some people talk about fees. The sad part of this is that fees is a total expense ratio fee that people think that they're, you know, we don't take spreads, right? And the things that a lot of different other businesses do that. And you say like, I don't take, it's a commission free, but then there's a spread. So it's the same thing as just disguise, but no, most people don't realize that, which is very, very, very sad. So if you take the all-inclusive fee with a smart engine, we have today one of the best services for a regulated platform that has such a high quality service. One of the issues others is coming from deposit and withdrawal. So sometimes it's too expensive, or if it's too slow sometimes. Basically is a cost thing. We don't make money out of there. It's really based on essentially a blockchain fee. So Ethereum is very high, so people pay for the same reason. Sometimes it comes from user support, which comes from the language, the buyers or whatsoever. This has been really changed since we have now German, French, that are really looking towards having the best experience for our community members. There's another fact that comes from fraud sometimes. Some people have been frauded out of the app and then come to us and say like,
oh, but you know, there's another fake Cyrus that talked to me, or there's a fake SwissBorg that just said me to do this.
But never comes from us ourselves. The onboarding as well, some issues. We have facing a lot of issues recently where people don't realize that to onboard on 3 levels or 2 levels, you have to bring more SENTI identifications. And a lot has been done to the referral recently, especially with the fact that there's a lot of people just coming on the platform expecting to earn like $100 or $200 just for depositing 50. And this sometimes, you know, it's based on randomness, right? So a lot of people have been doing that recently. There's 2-3 videos that leaked out of some countries, and people were just focusing on that. And obviously people, you know, if they deposit $50, 50 euros of crypto and get only $3 or $5 ticket, they're not super happy. But all in all, I think so. We're always trying to bring the best investment experience. If there's other things we believe we should improve, just drop it here in the comments. Like if there's other ones who just brought these answers, and we'll hope to change it. So SwissBorg in chart of the week, I think so. It's really interesting to see that right now, essentially, the AUM is broke down into Switzerland, GBP, and France. This has been quite a strong case for a long time. We're seeing as well that ET, CHSB, BTC, and USDC are the biggest assets where people are concentrated right now, flying to security with those three countries. Weekly CHSB data is pretty stable as things have done. So no big growth, unfortunately. Which brings us less than 200 actually new premium users. We're definitely seeing a time where people are not as active as used to. To be honest, the process is going worse and worse. But that's what happens when people get cold. They eventually don't do much. Which brings us to the community indirect text. This is a horrible one, guys. It is 3.8. Everything's pretty much down. Besides CHSB holders, I've grown a little bit less than a few hundred there. But overall, it's quite negative territory. The good thing is that tomorrow night we're talking about real builders, real shapers. Chlagou is one of the greatest founder I've met recently. Obviously, Cross of the Ages is a fantastic project. The SwissBorg Venture has allocated quite a lot of funding, and more importantly, the community at SwissBorg and other people around, they're really looking forward to this great, amazing games that we'll be developing very soon. Well, lovely community, what can I tell you? It's these times that makes champions, that make heroes, and this is when you need our extraordinary people. The difference between someone ordinary and someone extraordinary is that little extra. That little extra that fuels you at these negative times. I know it's been repeating myself maybe last week and the other ones. But again, these are these times where you build wealth. These are these times that you sustain wealth. These are these times that we need people to essentially be responsible to make that thing happen, right? It's in these times that you need to smile. It's these times you need to be strong. And with that, well, even you have negative numbers, even if you have less love, even if you have less confidence, it happens. It happens to me, I'm very systematic. People don't realize this because sometimes people think, yeah, I just get up and I make up stuff. And I do improvise a lot, but a very systematic function where I do that improvisation. Because, in life, you have to be able to go with the flow and at the same time do what you do that makes you very successful, right? And I do wake up sometimes and I feel in doubt and I'm saying, well, this looks like we're not going to have a good week or a good month or a good quarter, or maybe even a good semester, right? Or maybe even potentially even a good year. But does that make that you're not going to be able to achieve where you want to go? When you take your car and you see a traffic jam and you want to go on vacation, is that traffic jam going to say like, oh, I'm not going on vacation anymore, I'm just going to stick with my car and go back to where I am? Well, no, you find different ways, right? Even Google Map could help you, or you just figure out a different way, but you get to your destination. And I'm trying to understand here and tell you what's your destination. If you don't figure this out, try to really close your eyes, okay? And feel what you want, where you want to be in 2023, where you want to be in 2024, where you want to be in 2025, and what do you want to be, maybe in 2040. And think about what does wealth mean for you. Have that financial freedom, have that possibility to look back and say, man, those were challenging times, but overall, this movie or this book I wrote was just a game changer for me, for my family, for entire community, for entire SwissBorg token holders, and more. And I think so. That's what I always think about, and that's why I always have a huge smile for that. So as always, guys, be healthy, be wealthy, and love our CHSB. Take care, guys. Love you. Bye.
Through SwissBorg, all assets will have a fiat gateway. And here is the thing.
Premium features gives you zero fee trading.
It's an amazing fiat gateway.
For some, love is a strong feeling. What if you could send it in a... From point A to point B. Zero borders, zero time, zero fees. For us, love is sending crypto. Just send it. Now with Smart Send. Engineered in Switzerland by SwissBorg.